Hey everybody, this is Rich. I am back with another time-lapse drawing. I figured out most of my video recording and editing issues from my first video, and I'm back with another, so let's get into it. What we're doing here is I'm actually drawing a creator-owned character for my creator-owned series that I will be crowdfunding at some point. This is just one of the characters in the series. The series that I'm doing is going to be a fantasy series, kind of based off of JRPG video games, where it's a group of characters with their own strengths and weaknesses and whatnot, and they have to work together. It's going to be a bit different than normal fantasy, though. I'm not really a big fantasy genre fan. I feel like a lot of it is just the same stuff being mulched over and over again. It's always some alternate version of medieval times, and it's always a kingdom in trouble and an unlikely hero with a magical sword, and there's always elves and orcs and stuff. But I thought to myself, what do I fantasize about? I don't fantasize about any of that stuff. I fantasize about, high adventure. That's the part that I like. I like the journey and the adventure part of fantasy. But I also really enjoy sci-fi, and I really enjoy alternate futures and post-apocalypse type scenarios and everything. And I also love fun. I feel like a lot of comics these days, they lack a little bit of fun. So I'd like to bring that into it. Kind of mishmash my love for Saturday morning cartoons and video games and stuff like that into this project here. So this is one of the main characters. I haven't named him yet. I've got a few that I'm kind of kicking around. But he's one of the first characters that we meet. Actually, I think he's going to be the first character that we even see. And he's a boy, probably or like early adolescence. I'd say maybe 12, 13 years old. He is a backwoods type character, if you couldn't already tell by what he's wearing. He is completely self-reliant. He has grown up taking care of himself. However, he is going to be the most probably positive in the group. He's going to have the most optimistic outlook, and he's going to be the heart of the group, basically. His two main weapons are going to be a hunting rifle and a bear trap. So what I'd like to do is along the way. With these characters, I'd like to upgrade their weapons and what they wear and stuff like that, while still keeping that kind of same flavor of the original designs that we meet them in, kind of like a video game, right? So, the normal fantasy, rigmarole is that you start with the crappy sword, and then by the end you've upgraded enough, and then have gotten the ultimate great sword, That's kind of what I want to do, but instead of, swords, for the most part, swords and axes and everything, I mean, there'll be some swords, but they're going to be, like flintlock pistols, and there will be things like that, laser weapons and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to play around with that. There's going to be technology involved. That's going to be the magical source, instead of, I'm going to cast a fire spell. Instead of that, it's like, I'm going to throw a grenade, So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to spin the fantasy genre on its ear a little bit. Tell you a little bit about what I'm working with here. I'm using blue lines to set everything up. So I got really into using non-photo blue lead, where I will actually draw very roughly, almost sketching. Like, I'll just sketch out a general idea of what I want to do and then just solidify it in ink, make all my final decisions in ink. And that seems to work out really nicely, and it saves so much time. And honestly, if you're going into to the comic book comic book industry, I guess. I don't know why you'd want to do it now, but if you're trying to get in, I mean, it's a good way to kind of bump up your paycheck a little bit. You can do your own inks, then you're going to get paid for both inks and pencils. It's something that I figured out in my most recent stint with a indie publisher. Deadlines, they are tough, and if you don't figure out a quick way to hit them, you're gonna fail. So I went through a few different types of lead, and then I just landed on non-photo blue. And it's like, this is perfect. And normally I'm a pencil guy. I love seeing nice tight pencils, but I mean, inks are the way to go, because you're gonna need to ink. I mean, there are some coloring techniques where you can just multiply some layers and ink right over top of the pencils, but I think for a nice clean look, inks are the way to go. So yeah, I'd like to do a few more of these videos, so I'll probably do more character design work. I would like to make this a series where you can actually see the journey that I go through when it comes to crowdfunding from beginning to end on this project. I'd like to talk about some things that I don't really hear very often. You hear a lot of people talk about the process, the creative process, the writing, the drawing, and the coloring and things like that, but nobody ever talks about how you do your taxes. No one talks about what you have to say and the lingo you have to use when it comes to printers and stuff like that. So that's kind of the thing that I want to go into. So this is the first one, and get ready for more, because I have figured all of the bugs out. All right, here's the finished project. See you on the next one.